So, Ellie, obviously you're coming on board as an ambassador. Welcome on board. But
So excited, guys.
it might be just worth saying for the camera and for Rio, just explaining sort of your journey and why the foundation resonates so much with you.
Well, don't have a conventional journey. I started off as a tiny little baby in Iran, actually born into war. So it was very difficult, time for my mum and just travelling from that part of the world to England and bringing up 3 kids on her own. Really shaped me in my younger years. So growing up in West London, grew up on a council estate that's been knocked down. I've got my last video of our flat, which is really sad, but now it's just replaced by some luxury flats.
Gentrified.
And there's so much about my upbringing and growing up in a community that I find really hard to find nowadays, especially for young people. I think the community for young people is now very much online, and I think being able to take them out of an online space and bring them back into the real world, but with that safety net, is so important. And watching what you do is really nostalgic for me. It makes me feel like, gosh, we really had those things for a very short period of time when we were kids, and then it was all stripped from us. So all of our community centres were closed down, there was nowhere to go, and you really just started to see things shift and change. And you had to grow up quite quickly. So the thing that I love about the Rio Ferdinand Foundation and what I actually realised from the very beginning, I think the first thing I came to was the cultural consultation, which was here. You give young people the hope, and you give young people the safe space to challenge their limiting beliefs that they might have taught themselves, or life might have taught them, or background or culture or anything might have instilled in them from a very young age. You bring them here and you show them that they can be whoever they want to be in a really safe space and in such a healthy way. And that, if I could leave this earth one day, which obviously I don't want to, I want to live forever, but it would be the most important thing that would fill my cup. Because we don't take anything from this life with us, but what we take is the impact that we've left on people. And I resonate so much with the impact that you both bring to young people all the time in every single event. The level of effort you go to, the attention to detail, the fact that you invest your time and energy into so many different industries to be able to give young people the confidence and the self-belief that they already have, but they haven't had the opportunity to tap into, and just make different decisions in their lives. That is mental. That is so powerful. And that is what I want to be involved in, because it's something that I'm very passionate about in everything I do.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
I was going to say, when you look back at when we set up the foundation over 10 years ago, Rio, that youth centre community, it's very much about the reasons that you set up in the foundation in the first place, right?
Yeah, I grew up in youth clubs, and they were part of helping shape who I am today. Yes, you have your family at home. Not everyone's got the stable unit at home, so the youth club became that. The thing that helped shape their life a little bit. And the fact that the council's the resources were stripped out of them and they couldn't facilitate those sites meant that kids lost a kind of generation of being able to tap into that. And that's where you get more crime, more problems, more disengagement. So this isn't a youth club, but it's definitely hopefully trying to fill that little void where, as again, the resources have been stripped out of these councils to be able to provide these safe spaces for these young people.
I also just love the fact that you're not relying on anyone anymore. You've really taken the ownership and the responsibility as a foundation to change the way things have been done for a very long time, and to hold people accountable that actually have a lot of power in many industries to give back. I think giving back is something that a lot of people don't realise the importance and power of, and it could literally be, you could be anybody, but just giving back could change one person's perspective a day. And you guys do it on such a massive scale, so I'm so gassed about being involved, and I cannot wait to just get on the road with you guys and help shape
We got some good stuff planned for you.
Yeah.
Don't think you know what you're in for
No,
here.
I already know.
So, Ellie, just so obviously you talked about the industries that we're trying to get into, and one of those is music. You've obviously worked with us into the music industry. What we're trying to do is inspire young people and sort of show that there isn't a traditional way in. Obviously, you're a well-known DJ with Kiss and the media side now, but you came into it quite late, and I think that's quite important for young people. So, do you just want to maybe touch on that a little bit?
I think there's two things that I would say. I'd say it doesn't really matter how old you are. You can always change what you want to do, because as you grow, you do change. Your interests change, who you are changes, and then I guess your life path has to reflect that. And sometimes people get very scared because they are worried how they're going to sustain a bunch of stuff if they change and follow their dreams. But I'm an example that you actually can. Sometimes you do have to balance and spin a lot of plates, but at the end of the day, the long-term pleasure is always going to outweigh the short-term pain. I came into music when I was a lot later. I spent my 20s in business, and when I came into music, I really didn't think of it as a career. It was more so doing a 360 back to what kept me and my sisters busy when we were kids, while my mum was working 3 jobs, which was music. So I wanted to go back into that, and then it just naturally ended up becoming a career because I was just good at it. But I never had the opportunity to realise I was good at it until I made the opportunity happen myself.
How did you do that though? How did you see the opportunity there if it's not glaring?
Because I'm how did I see the opportunity if it wasn't glaring? I'm curious. I'm a curious person, and I do get bored, but I get bored at a certain degree, and I had become quite bored of what I was doing. It became quite just everyday routine, and I felt like I had achieved my purpose in what I had started in my 20s. When it came to me exploring outside of that, I just started to actually hone in on me and who I am as a person and what I enjoy, and then naturally making those decisions for myself and exploring myself led to this opportunity and opened the doors for me to music. Once I stepped into that, I realised there were so many
More
different things you can do in music that growing up in a very strong Persian household, it was never going to be acceptable at 18 for me. I could never go to my mum at 18 and be like, I'm going to be a DJ. She'd be like, I traveled the sea, I studied the sea, I came on the aeroplane, my passport, everything. It would have been too much for my mum to cope with. So I ticked the life boxes, cultural life boxes, and then it all became about me. And honestly, since that journey started, knowing how hard it is to carve those opportunities, and then knowing that you're already providing them for young people at such a young age, makes their journey just it's just slightly bit easier. And that's why I'm excited about this, because I basically get to do a Benjamin Button and go backwards and help the kids go forwards and young people go forwards, especially when they're from underprivileged backgrounds and underrepresented areas, and just it's just very exciting. But my journey into music was very different, very unconventional. I started quite late. Once I got into it, I took hold of it and created a career out of it, and that is what has led me to Kiss. And actually Kiss is what introduced me to the Rio Ferdinand Foundation. So it just goes to show the 6 degrees of separation are real.
Absolutely.
smashing it.
And obviously, you're now coming on board as an ambassador. You're going to be sort of trying to inspire young people, work with us around raising young people's aspirations. Rio, just how important is it to have people like Ellie on board, to have sort of role models and ambassadors for the foundation, do you think?
Yeah, role models I think are key for young people, whether someone like yourself who's in the public eye, who they hear your voice, they know exactly who you are, they tune in and they know I'm connected, they engage. Or it be like when we were younger, they were youth workers. They're not celebrities, they're not in the public eye, but they're doing something that looks like it's achievable, and they've got a decent life, they've got a car, they've got a house over there, and they can get food. That's the goal as a young kid when you're growing up in the backgrounds that we're from. But then obviously you want to aspire to sometimes go maybe in a different route, and this is where you come in, because you're able to give people the belief that it is possible. Once they can feel and touch and see, right, she's from a similar place to me, looks a bit like me, she knows people like me, and she's doing what she's doing. Rah.
I always say if the 8-year-old me had me at this age doing what I'm doing as an example, I would have had a blueprint to take to my mum and be like, look, somebody has done it that's like me, please give me a break and let me go and explore.
Yeah. It's an easier conversation, isn't it?
It's an easier conversation, and I think that being able to provide that for like the 8-year-old little Middle Easterns out there is like really important, because we do come from very strong cultures and strong backgrounds, and sometimes we don't really get to think for ourselves for a very, very long time. But that's why I say that age doesn't matter, because as long as one person believes in you, then you can start to build that self-belief yourself, because the strongest thing ever is going to be that self-belief. You just need that one person to believe in you if you don't have that already ingrained in you, and that's where we come in.
Exactly.
Excellent. Well, we're really happy to have you on board and looking forward to doing some big things together.
Celebration. Let's go.
Let's go.